Hi, I'm Kelly from Jones Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this crazy looking pendant. I'll put a list of everything you're going to need in the description below. Quick shout out to my Patreon family over on Patreon. Really appreciate you guys. Couldn't do this without you, I really couldn't. I'll put your names on the screen. To make this pendant you'll need 0.7mm wire, which is 21 gauge, and I've cut 5 lengths at 11 inches, which is 28 centimetres. You'll need 0.25mm weaving wire, so I'm going for slightly thinner gauges this time. That's 30 gauge. I've wound mine onto a bobbin. I'll put the measurement on the screen. This is a Bobeeze bobbin by Beadsmith. You just wind your wire onto there. It just works out better with working with a longer length. This sits down by your side rather than the wire flailing about everywhere. So if you don't have one of these, I do recommend you getting one. They are quite handy. Mine's a 25mm unweighted. I've got a little jump ring. You can use anything at all today. Mine's 8mm outside measurement. I've got a little stone. Today I'm using a little teardrop cab. I've got some crazy hair on it. I think it's 25. Is it 25? So it's 25mm by just a bit more than 10, about 12. So anything that kind of size will work. My stone is pretty thick. It's about 6mm thick, I think. Whoop. So I'm going to use 5 lengths of wire. If your stone is a lot thinner than mine, you could use less wire. So I'm going to be using the 5 lengths that'll cover that giant side there. But I thought it would be interesting to try something a bit thicker, then you end up with more wires at the top. So just a word of warning, my stone is pretty thick. Right, what else have we got? Oop, I've moved. So tools, I've got my pliers, round nose, cutters, nylon pliers. If you don't have nylon pliers, don't worry. I just like having these handy for straightening the wires, flattening the weaves. They are always handy. All my tools are Tronex, and I'll put a list of all these things in the description below. So let's get started. So cut your wires to the length that I have. Position your thumb centrally along those wires. We'll start weaving just to the left of your thumb there. And I'm just going to tie the wires together, so you can do any weave you like, really. So weaving across all 5. We'll start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. And we'll go around the bottom 2 wires, come up between those 2 wires, go around the next 2 wires, come up between those 2 wires, go around the next 2, come up between those 2, over the top, so I'm going around the top 2 wires, come up between them. So we've done the same thing all the way up to the top, and then we go around each wire on the way back down. So you go around the top wire, come up between the 3rd and the 4th wire, go around the 4th wire, come up between the 2nd and the 3rd, you go around the 3rd, and you come up between the bottom 2, go around the 2nd, go around the bottom wire, and that's our repeat. So you must push it together between repeats, keep it all nice and tidy, and we're just going to repeat that weave a few more times. So I've got 6 repeats of that weave, and I'm going to finish it with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. Keep pushing it together as you go. I'm working with tinned copper today. Nice and Nice and cheap. Not as pretty as silver, but it'll still look nice with the moonstone. Cut off your wire at both ends, press those little cut ends down. Make sure that you haven't moved it along as you're working, so make sure it's still pretty central. You can always measure the wires on both sides. So next we're going to bend this into a V. So grip it sort of to the right. So the centre is just there at the left of your pliers. And we're going to bend it. Oh no, I'm off screen just for a second. And we need to get that bend to match the angle of the stone. And then when you're happy with that angle and the point sits right down nicely into the bottom there, we're going to hold it down and we're going to bring the wires up the sides of the stone. Really hold it, push it down, and then we're going to cross the wires above. Try not to let the wires cross over each other. We're then going to bend them up at the top. So keep adjusting it until you're happy. You need it to be a nice snug fit around the stone there. The stone needs to sit down nicely into that weave at the bottom, and then the wires come up at the top. So next we'll join those wires at the top. So again, make sure that they haven't crossed over each other. I'm just going to part them a little bit so we can see where they are. Take your weaving wire and we'll wrap 3 times around one of the back wires. Slide it down to where the wires meet. And then holding those wires together, again try not to let them cross over each other. We're going to then wrap around the whole thing. And we'll go around loads of times. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then wrap around one of the back wires 3 times, and that should hold all that together. We can cut this tail end off, press down that little cut end. Make sure your stone still fits in there. And we'll turn to the back. So we'll secure the stone next and we'll start at the back. So you just need a little gap between your wires there at the back so you can get your pliers in. We'll grip quite low down to the bottom and holding the top in place, we twist the bottom wire in. Press it against the stone and then we'll grip the other side. Make sure the stone stays pushed down into the bottom there. Grip that back wire, twist. Again, holding the wire in place here. I'm just going to twist that in a bit more. Press the wires against the stone, turn to the front. And we'll do the same thing, keeping the stone right down to the bottom. We just need a little gap down the sides here between that front wire. Get your pliers in there, wriggle right the way down, and then holding that top bit in place, twist, press it against the stone, again for this side, twist, press it against the stone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little detail at the top as well. So I'm going to grip the wire here and I'm going to twist so that the wire comes in and it follows the stone. That wire needs to stay to the front though. I pushed it behind then when I twisted it. And on this side, try and get the same height. Oh no. And then twist it to the monkey. Press it against the stone. You can give it a squeeze at the top as well, just so it hugs the stone that little bit better. To keep it in keep. Okay, my words have gone. But do the same at the back. Just makes it a bit different. So that's the back. Give it a squeeze at the top there. And that's the front there. So if I say I'm going to do something a little bit different at the top here, I might have done something like this a long time ago. I haven't done it for a while. I'm going to take the front two wires. We're going to bring the weaving wire to the front. So what I'm going to do is, where are we? Here. I'm going to go over the second wire and I'm going to bring it up to the front. If you just bring it straight to the front, then it's going to be coming all the way over these side wires and it'll look messy. So I've just gone in between there, so it comes up here. And I'm going to weave across the front two wires only. So just weaving across those front two. And I'm going to wrap 3 times around. If we're looking at them side on, 3 times around the bottom wire, 3 times around both wires. Please mention me when sharing your finished work made from my tutorials. Please don't share images of the back or in progress, as it gives all my little secrets away. You can share a link to this tutorial if you want to. I'd appreciate it. I appreciate all the mentions. Like I say, it's not essential. It does me a favour. And I do appreciate it. Don't feel that you have to mention me when you're selling your things. It doesn't look very professional if you say you make all this bespoke jewellery and you did it from a tutorial. So you don't feel like you have to mention me. I do appreciate it when you do. When sharing on the groups and whatever. And tag me if you don't mind. I like to see what you make. It does make me smile to see when you guys decide to make one of mine. But no pressure. So we're just going to keep weaving along those 2 wires. Shall we do about 12 repeats to start with? So I got a bit carried away and I did 14. So what we're going to do is going to pull it over at the base to the right, and then we're going to scoop it over. So we're doing a loop. Take your time so it shapes right. You can see it shaping as you take it around. Take the next wire, pull it down at the base, scoop it around, and we're going to follow that wire. I want it to be slightly to the back, and then I want it to come to the front there. So now we've got 3 wires coming down. I'm going to take the next wire. I'm going to scoop this one, but I'm going to pull it across at the back. Can you see it? Now I'm going to scoop it around so it comes around a bit lower down. And then that one comes in to be next to them. So now we've got 4 wires together. I'm going to take the next wire, I'm going to push it down, I'm going to bring it forwards. There's my pliers gone. And then with my pliers, I'm going to bend it out like that. And I'm going to bring that one around too. I'm going to pop a bead on this one. So I'm just going to find a bead. And then I'm going to bring that wire around. So now we've got 5 wires. I've spread my wires out evenly and I'm just going to weave across all 5 just to hold them together. So looking at all 5 wires, oh darn, it's stuck. We come up between the bottom 2 and I'm going to go around the middle 3 twice. So I've come up between the bottom 2 again. I'm going to go 3 times actually. We'll go 3 times around the middle 3. And then I'm coming up underneath the bottom wire and I'm going around the bottom 2 wires, and I'll do that twice. But it comes up between the 3rd and the 4th wire, and then I'm going to wrap around the top 2 wires twice. And I'm coming up between the bottom 2. Let's try and push it all together. That's it. So then we go around the middle 3 again, 3 times. I'm going to pull it away a little bit because I'm struggling because it's so close to the stone. So I'll do that 3 times. So I'm going to do another repeat of that. So I'll go twice around the bottom 2, bringing the wire up between the 3rd and the 4th wires. Twice around the top 2 wires, bringing the wire up between the bottom 2. Then you need to get in there and compress it all together. I'll do another couple of repeats of that weave. So I've done a few more repeats of that weave. So next we're going to take the 2 top wires, holding that in place there. I'm going to take them around those side wires. Wiggling them through, and I want them to go under that lot, so they just go around the side there. And that holds that weave in place, and then we're going to weave across just these 3 wires here. So I'm going to wrap twice around the top 2 wires. That's Gracie snoring, if you can hear loads of noise. And then twice around the bottom 2 wires. I'm sure she's been as loud as she can. And we'll repeat that. So I've added repeats to that weave. I've kept going till I think I'm going to reach the bottom of the stone if I was to bring it down to there. Keep pushing it together as you go. And what I'm going to do with this weave is I'm actually going to bend it around and take it to the back like that. So you need to add weave repeats until it comfortably reaches across the back there. Finish with a few wraps around one of the wires just to hold all that together. And we'll cut that off. And these wires are just going to attach there onto that back wire. So we need a little gap around the back wire there. And these are just going to wrap around. So I'm curling it around, and then I'm going to push it around that back wire there. And you've got to make sure you pull it tight so it goes to the back, and you don't want to pull this wire over the side because you free up your stone. You want to keep it all nice in there. Gracie's snoring her head off. We've just been for quite a long walk. I was thinking she'll sleep now, but she's sleeping as loud as she can. So I'll give that a pull. And then I'm going to bend the end around. I love this tinned copper because it's got that silver look and it's nice and cheap. But you do see the copper sometimes. So I'll bend that second wire around too. Try not to disturb the position of that weave too much. Nip the end off, bend it around, press it in place. Because we don't really need 3 wires holding on there, I was just going to curl this one, but I'll leave it there for a minute. Make sure the weave is how you want it to be. Lovely. So I was going to take these wires around to add to the flow. You can cut them off if you want to. You can do whatever you like. I'm going to bring it around over that weave. And then take it around to follow. Again, you can do anything you want with these wires. Bring that one over a bit lower down. I like that. So I need to finish those 2 wires off too. I think I'm going to finish those 2 wires on this side just to give myself a bit more space. So I'm making a space behind that back wire, and I'm going to attach these around. I normally cut them off a bit first. So we need to hold them in place. So they're going to sit where we want them to. I'm going to start attaching it, and then I'm going to have a look and make sure it's where I want it to be. And I'm going to attach that second wire the same. She's like a constant sound, her snoring. I don't really notice it anymore. It's just because I'm doing the video, I'm really aware of it. So we check the position, lovely, and then we can tighten them up around there and squeeze them all around nice and tight into place. Cut off the excess and press them around with your pliers. Next I'm going to take 2 wires from the top, sort of the ones closest to the side there. And I'm going to weave across those 2 wires. So I'm attaching my weaving wire to the one. Slide that down. And I'm going to do 3 wraps around the bottom wire, 3 wraps around the 2 wires like we did earlier. So I've done 10 repeats of that weave. I'm going to try and cut that off while I can still get to it. And this one is going to scoop around to there like that. And then these wires are going to go around those side wires there. So we can cut that off and then take these wires through. I'm trying to hold that so I don't misshape it too much. I really like how this one's turning out. Something a bit different. Gotta be careful you don't push your stone out when you push these wires through. Gently feed them all the way through. Repositioning your weave, checking it's how you want it to be from the front. I'm actually going to finish those wires off around there. I don't want them to go any further. So I'm holding that weave and I'm pressing those wires around the side wires so they grip on. So we take another wire next. And we'll scoop it around so we come in between the heights of this and this. So we're coming over sort of here. And we want to scoop it around so it goes there in the middle of the 2. And I'm going to post it through. So I'm pulling it back a little bit, bending it from the end, post it through there, and I want it to go above the weave. So carefully putting that wire back into place how you want it to be. Back into place where you want it to be. Carefully wiggle it around. And then when it's there, we're going to do the same. Going to cut it off here and curl it around so it grips onto those side wires and then press it around so it really holds on there. Check the position. So we've got 2 wires left. I'll take this one. I'm going to bend it down at the back. And then I'm going to scoop it around. I'm going to bend it directly down at the back. And then I'm going to scoop it around a little bit so it's even lower than that one. Because what I want to do is, in fact this one can just come round and finish off. I was going to do my little finishing thing with this one, but I'm going to do it with the other one. So send that around, and I want it to scoop around and up like that. So it comes around and it goes up. Well, another design for you to have a play around with. I'd love to see what you make. Please come and share with me. Tag me so I can see what you make. So this last one is going to come around and it's a bigger shape, like this. And then when it gets to here, I'm going to bend it. So we need to hold it and bend it. Unfortunately, you can't file out marks of tinned copper because you'll see the copper. So I bent it around like that. So I've got a nice big swoop. I've bent it around. You know, I'm going to bend it completely flat, I think. I'll show you. I'm going to squeeze it completely flat. And I'm going to twist it so that it comes to the front like that. And then I'm going to scoop it around to finish with a little curl to the front there. To finish off that, it's like a big fancy bow, isn't it? I'm going to attach this curl to this front wire here so that it holds it down in place with a little bit of weaving wire. I've cut off a little bit of weaving wire and I'm just going to attach with a few wraps around that cut wire. She has moved across the room, so her snoring should be a bit quieter now, if you can still hear it. Slide that around to where will be the best place to join it. I think I'm going to join it a bit further up. I really love how this is looking and I'd like it to protrude a little bit. So I'm going to push this down and I'm going to join a little bit further down there. I need a little bit of a gap between the wires. And then I'm just going to post it through and attach to the side. After attaching a few times, I will then wrap 3 times around that top cut wire and then we can curl it. We'll cut off that wire at both ends, press down your little cut ends, and then I can curl that wire there. I've still got that wire sticking out from the back. Whoops. do a tiny little curl to finish that one off there. Tuck it in. I think I've finished. We need to put the jump ring on. We need to pop it through the top weaves, wherever you think is best really. Just post it through. You need at least 2 wires. I wouldn't just wrap around the one. I mean, you can do if you want to, but it looks better and it would be a bit more secure if you went around the weave if you can, or at least a couple of wires. How cute is that? I'm really pleased with that. Something a bit different for you to have a play with. So I won't be oxidising this one. Really pleased how it turned out. I hope you managed to follow this tutorial okay, it didn't cause too much confusion. And I'll see you all very soon with the next one. Bye for now. Bye.